on Sports with the Wise Man, coming off a great week 2, going into week 3, and we're going to delve into the Giants, the Jets, all the NFL teams. It's exciting. Finally, the Giants are 2-0. The Jets are the miraculous win. But we're not going to talk about it alone because we got a special guest coming back once again, Brian Baldinger, a.k.a. Baldy, NFL analyst. You guys all know him. You guys love him. And how you doing today, Baldy?
Hey, I'm good, Mendel. I'm good. I'm at NFL Films in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. I just got done studying Thursday night's game. We're taping on Friday morning between the Steelers and the Browns. So I just finished that. I got to tape a couple shows here for the weekend for the NFL. And I'm heading down to Tampa tomorrow, Mendel. I mean, the Battle of the Bays. Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady going at it in Tampa. It's going to be great. I'm calling it on national radio. So I'm in a good place right now, buddy.
Yeah, so we're going to start off with the Giants, as we have many teams to get to, but we're going to start off with the New York Football Giants, 2-0. We're going to get into their comeback with Tennessee. Let's try to get into that. Panthers, their defense, Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones, and especially their new coach, which is having a hot start. So what do you got to say about the New York Giants if you had to sum it?
Well, I'm going to pick up right where you just left off, Bendel. I think Brian Daboll's doing a great job because the biggest, there's so many things that he has to kind of fix in New York. Obviously, we know the losing seasons, frustrations, and all that stuff. But he has his team ready to play. 2 weeks in a row, his team has been ready to play against Carolina last week. The opening kickoff, they blow up the returner, Chuba Hubbard, and they recover a fumble on the opening kickoff. And they don't do much with it offensively, but they kick a field goal. They turned, and then they got a fumble at the end of the game. So they took, 2 fumble recoveries and turned them into 6 points. And that was a big deal. And they threw a touchdown pass to the rookie tight end, Daniel Bellinger. They did enough, but I thought they come out against Tennessee, against Carolina, and the team's ready to play. They're ready to hit. They're ready to compete. And that's a credit to Brian Daboll.
Yeah, it's very exciting. What do you got to say about Saquon Barkley? Looks like he's coming back at a bit of a rough week last week, but
he got off to a rough start. Mendel, he had his first 5 carries, he gained 3 yards. Like they really blitzed to stop the run, and they were successful doing it. He ran the ball much better in the second half in the opening week of the season. Who would have ever thought that in his first game as a Giant with Brian Daboll as a head coach that he would just shine all over Derrick Henry? I mean, he was fantastic in the game. Explosive runs, got the big run to start the third quarter to get the Giants on the scoreboard, early 68-yarder. Like he looks good. He looks really good. They got a really young offensive line, a lot of rookies out there, but I think he's off to a really good start.
Yeah, and what Daniel Jones has, he's still having. So when you look at Daniel Jones during a game, from my point of view, there are some throws that he makes which are pro throws, pro quarterback, and some quarterbacks can't even throw that way. But there are some mistakes which are just rookie mistakes, college mistakes. What do you got to say? Do you think you'll ever fix that? And yeah.
Man, I got to be honest with you. You're spot on. And I think the Giants see the same thing. I mean, you see it. I study it and I see it. I see him miss wide open receivers. I don't know why he's not looking there and why he doesn't throw it when he is. So I agree. There's some things that he does that are just befuddling. And then, like you said, he'll drop back and make some great throws, like the way it's got to be, on rhythm, timing, anticipation, location. But he just doesn't do it on any kind of consistent basis. The good thing so far is he's doing a good job of taking care of the football. That's good because this team isn't good enough to turn the ball over and win in either one of these games. So the good thing is he's not making a mistake. But here's what I would say, Mendel. I would say stop trying to play so safe. Like, safe is good. It takes care of the ball, but safe doesn't win in this league. Safe, you got to make throws that are there. You have to pull the trigger. And I'd say going forward, I want to see him be more aggressive with the ball.
Yes, and you could tell, like Josh Allen, and he's amazing these days, he's very comfortable with the ball, but he's not trying to be safe and straight and tight. He's got it loose. It's good. Now let's move on to the other team, right on the other side of the road, the New York Jets, with a crazy rear win, especially with the onside kick, which is twice a season, maybe if you're lucky. And what do you got to say about their old quarterback Joe Flacco and the new receiver Garrett Wilson and Robert Saleh.
Well, it was for any Jet fan, Mendel, and I know you're in an area where there's Jet fans. It was the greatest 60 seconds of football they've seen in 50 years. I mean, to throw the touchdown pass, to get the onside kick, to take the ball down and score 2 touchdowns in basically a minute. It's an amazing thing. I mean, the odds of recovering an onside kick is somewhere around 12 or 13%. Justin Hardy is a great special team player. He came up with the loose ball. Braden Mann is just a weapon. He had a fake punt that we saw early in the game to steal a possession. The onside kick, it kind of fooled Cleveland. It looked like he was going to go one direction. He came back and kicked it the other direction. All those things happened. Jets made those things happen. And then, there was a lot of good receivers in this draft, Mendel. I mean, Drake London's going to be a good player. But the Jets really believed that Garrett Wilson was the best receiver in the draft. And I did too. And he proved it. He showed some of the things of what he's capable of doing on Sunday. The game winner, one catch after another, the middle of the field, the first touchdown, just beating the guy right off the line of scrimmage. We saw a lot to like about Garrett Wilson and the rookie running back, Breece Hall, in that game.
Yes, and now we're staying local over here. We got the Bills next. The Bills coming off a really hot start. They had a very heartbreaking loss to the Chiefs and bad defense in the last 8 seconds. But now they've come up and shown that they're right back in the competitiveness, right back to win this Super Bowl. First of all, Brian Dable leaving to the Giants hasn't affected. It seems like it isn't even affecting them so much. Josh Allen's looking even better. Stephon Diggs. What do you got to say about them? And as of now, they look like potential Super Bowl contenders. I know it's a little early.
Yeah, no, there's no question, Mendel. I mean, it's early. It's only late September, but I mean, they have everything it takes, to go the distance in this whole league. I mean, the quarterback is as hot as it gets. Defensively, they've gotten better, adding Von Miller, Gregory Rousseau in his second year. All those things are true. When the play breaks down, he can find Stephon Diggs anywhere on the field, like this first touchdown to Diggs the other night. They'll run the ball a little bit more this year, Mendel. I think they're a little bit more two-back set. The fullback, Reggie Gilliam, caught the opening touchdown pass of the game. That's a little bit, Ken Dorsey's the new offensive coordinator. It looks like they're a little more committed to the run, a little more two-back set than they've been, which might be a good thing. We'll find out, as the season goes along. But they're going to get tested in Miami this weekend. It's going to be a great test. Miami has, lost 7 straight to Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills. They haven't been able to defend them. But I think, the Buffalo's going to start 2 rookie cornerbacks this week, and they're going up against the Blur brothers in Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. This could be your classic shootout in South Florida this weekend.
I mean, you just saw a classic shootout in South Florida with an amazing comeback, and the Blur brothers, especially Jalen Waddle, and at the end, Tyreek Hill just running it. And even on the other team had one Blur brother, which was a quarterback, for God's sake, and longest run of his career. Let's move on to the Eagles. I mean, they've had a very hot start. They're also a very big. They're very competitive in the NFC East right now. And they look like Jalen Hurts is just doing better and better. They don't have anything too bad, and their defense is rocking and rolling. What do you got to say about the Philadelphia Eagles?
Well, you said a lot right there, and I agree with everything you just said. I mean, I live here in Philly. I see a lot of the players in the offseason. I see them some days on their day off. Jalen Hurts is the real deal. I know people are still questioning him, but he is a really athletic, committed professional. He just wants to be great. His dad was his head coach in high school. He's been around football his whole life. He loves it. He's got a good supporting cast. He's got a great offensive line. He's got a big tight end in Dallas Goedert. He's got a true number 1 receiver in A.J. Brown. He's got a legitimate, star wide receiver in Devontae Smith. He completed his first 11 passes the other night, Mendel. First 11 passes, on Monday night against a good Vikings defense. He ran for 2 touchdowns in the first half. He had a 2-minute drill at the end of the first half to get a field goal with a minute to go. He went the length of the field. He's really good, and I think he's only going to get better. And so, they haven't faced any adversity yet, and so that will be the test. It might start this weekend against Washington, going up against their old quarterback Carson Wentz, who's playing really good. We got to see what the Eagles look like, Mendel, when they get faced with some adversity.
I mean, that's going to be fun to watch them playing Carson Wentz. And, let's get to the last team, which we'll really get into, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which you're studying. Tom Brady looking like, I mean, we've been saying this for years. Last year, I thought he should have retired. Obviously, when you play so competitive for 20 years, it's very hard to retire. And he stayed with the Buccaneers. They have been winning, but they look very rusty offensively, and they're holding on as tight as they can. What do you got to say, and when does it end for them?
Well, they're going to get tested by Green Bay this weekend. And, when you lose your top three targets now, Mike Evans was kicked out of the game and suspended for this game. Julio Jones, who had a good first game against Dallas, has been hurt. Their other Chris Godwin, pulled a hamstring muscle. There's no Gronkowski. I mean, they're kind of down the list of receivers to throw to. They're not very good offensively at all, but defensively, they're as good as anybody in the league. They scored a defensive touchdown last week. Devin White is he can blitz with the best of them. He's a great player. They're very good defensively, Mendel, and they basically practically shut New Orleans out last week.
They also held Dallas to like 3 points.
Yes, they did. So you're right. So, up until the late fourth quarter of the game on Sunday, they held Dallas and New Orleans to 6 points, two field goals. That's it. So when they're playing that good a defense, Tom Brady knows the worst thing he can do is force a ball, make a mistake. And so he's limiting that right now, and he knows it. He knows that he's got a great defense. They can win with the defense. I think they just got to kind of tread water here, find enough plays to score enough points. Might not be very many, might not look pretty. Tom Brady might be slamming his computer on the sideline once more, again and again and again. But eventually, when they get their guys back, they're going to be just fine.
Okay, we're going to be excited to see them. I mean, last year was fun in the NFC division against the Rams. And we're going to get into predictions for week 3,
Ooh.
one by one. Hot. We're going to start off with the 1 o'clock games. You already know what happened to the Steelers-Browns. And so the Bills-Dolphins, that could potentially, as you said, be a shootout, which everyone's excited for. Who you got winning and how?
Gosh, I wish I was going to be there. I saw the Dolphins come back last week. I was in Baltimore for that, Mendel. I'm going to just say Buffalo. They've had a long time to get ready for this one. I think they've got everything it takes to be great. I'll say Buffalo continues to dominate the Dolphins. I'll say 31-28 in this game.
I gotta agree with that because I'm much more excited about the Bills' defense and offense. I'm very excited about the Dolphins' offense, but their defense is a little rusty as of last week. That's for sure. So that's one thing that's for sure down. And moving on to the next game for right down the road in MetLife Stadium, Bengals at Jets. The 0-2 Bengals clinging on to try to stay alive. Who you got?
I got the Jets. They beat them last year, Mendel. It has nothing to do with this year. But I think what's going to win for the Jets is their defensive line this week. I think they're going to play great. Bengals are having a lot of problems protecting Joe Burrow right now. I think that that's going to be the story of the game, is that the protection of Joe Burrow and the assault that he's been under the first 2 weeks will continue this week. I'm going to take the Jets in a major upset.
Ooh. Okay. Moving on. I'm excited for that game, that's for sure. And I mean, let's see how the Bengals cling on with and then we got the Raiders at Titans. Both of these teams are desperate 0-2.
Yeah.
And who you got?
Well, the Raiders were totally in charge last week against the Cardinals, and then they got out-Murrayed in the fourth quarter. Kyler Murray was just too much for him. I've never seen a quarterback play like that in the fourth quarter. The Raiders are still a good team. Like, they're going to be fine. They're going to come out of this. They're going to win this week. They're going to go to Tennessee and take care of business, get their first win. They're just too good. Max Crosby, Devontae Adams, they just got too many good players. I think they find a way to win this game, man. I'd say they win this game. I'm not a believer in Tennessee right now. I think they win this game 27-20 on Sunday.
I mean, I agree with that. That's for sure, because I saw the Giants play the Titans, and I'm not basing it off that one game, but they just sometimes they just make dumb decisions, which the Raiders don't. The Raiders had a fumbling issue, and I think they'll fix that out.
Yep.
And okay, so we got another one. We got the Saints, Panthers. Also, these teams are getting they're not, the Saints aren't clinging, but it's another, like, both not too good teams, but let's see how it works.
Yeah. Phew, man. I'm going to take the Saints. I know that Jameis Winston didn't play good in the fourth quarter last week with a chance to win the game. He kind of let him down. But I just don't. Baker Mayfield, you come in July and you try to learn a new offense and fit in. It just isn't working right now. He's not playing well. The passing game is dreadful. McCaffrey played better last week, Mendel. But I think I think the Saints know what Carolina's going to do. I like the Saints to bounce back and get this win.
Oh, okay. Well, also, that's another exciting 1 o'clock Fox game. And we got the Ravens at the Patriots. The Ravens the Patriots just look deader and deader by the year. But the Ravens, who you got? Probably Ravens. But
I think Lamar Jackson's the best player in the league. And so I don't think there's any way to defend him. He's thrown the ball better than he's ever have, Mendel. I like the Ravens in this game. Rashad Bateman's off to a great start. Devin Duvernay. They don't run the ball very good right now. But I like the Ravens to win this game. Probably something like 24 17, something like that. I like the Ravens to win.
yeah. The Lions Vikings, that's more of an exciting one. Once again, it's Lions Vikings, two pretty good teams.
I love the Lions. I love their offense coordinator, Ben Johnson. I love the way they're running the ball, Mendel. The Lions defensively, they're not very good. I think it's going to be a high scoring game, but I like the Lions in this game, 35-31. I think that they're going to surprise some people this year because their coaching is so good right now. And offensively, nobody's running the ball better than the Lions. They're averaging 7 yards a carry. A lot of big runs. I like the Lions to win.
Even last year when they stink, they beat the Vikings. Upset last year. That was fun. And we got the Eagles at the Commanders. You mentioned it earlier. Who you got?
These games are always close, man. I played with the Eagles. We'd beat the Redskins or lose to the Redskins by 3 points usually. I think it's going to be a 3-point game. I'd say 27-24 Eagles in this game. I think it's going to be real close. Carson will play well. Not because he's going up against his old team and he wants to stick it to him in revenge, just because he's got a lot of really good players around him. Terry McLaurin is really good, and Dotson, Jahan Dotson is a really good player. But I like the Eagles 27-24, just a field goal difference.
Okay. And, that means it's going to be a pretty tight game. That's another exciting game. These games are good this week. We got the Chiefs at the Colts. The Colts really getting buried by the Jaguars.
Yes.
And we're going to see your opinion on the Jaguars later. But Colts, Chiefs, how much do you think the Chiefs win by? That I'll go to.
I know the Colts have to bounce back. They have to play better than they have, but the Chiefs are the wrong team to do it against. They've had a long time to rest, 10 days to get ready for this game. They're healthy. Patrick Mahomes is playing great. I like the Chiefs in this game, 31-23. I think they take care of business.
And so the team which the Colts got destroyed by last week, you got the Jaguars versus the Chargers. That should be a pretty decent game. And before we even get into that game, what's your deal with the Jaguars? I didn't even see it coming at all.
Oh well, they've been stockpiling talent. This number one pick in the draft, they've had the two number one picks in the draft 2 years in a row. So Trevor Lawrence looked like the number one pick last week. He played great, played his best game ever as a pro. And then Trayvon Walker, the number one pick in the draft this year, is an electric player. They destroyed the Colts up front. I like the Jaguars to win this game. I think this team is for real. They're well coached by Doug Peterson. And Trevor Lawrence is just getting better and better. And he's got just enough weapons right now. Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk has been a good pickup. I like the Jaguars to keep rolling right now.
Yes. That's another great game. This is getting better. And the Rams at Cardinals.
Well, the Rams, have not been great. They struggled a little bit last week to finish off the Falcons. And the Cardinals won in just a cardiac style. These teams know each other really, really good. I just think that the Rams are just a better team right now. So all the way around, I think they're better. J.J. Watt helped the Cardinals last week. But I'll take the Rams in this game. Last time they met was in a playoff game, and the Cardinals were awful. I'll take the Rams in this game. I think they'll be fine. I think probably 30-20, something like that.
And then another game on Fox. We got the Packers at Buccaneers.
Yeah, I'm announcing this game. I like the Packers to win this game. I think they're just going to get better and better. I think that offensively, Aaron Rodgers knows how to play Tampa. He's seen them a bunch, regular season and postseason. I think they're just a better team right now, but close. Probably something like 20-17 in favor of the Packers.
I want to see how Tom Brady plays that. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. We always used to get excited about those matchups. And moving on to the last 425 game, Falcons at Seahawks.
I think the Falcons they've got three great offensive players in Drake London, Cordero Patterson, and Kyle Pitts. And I think that's enough to beat Seattle, who's struggling offensively. So they didn't score a touchdown last week, Mendel. That's not a good sign. So I like Atlanta to go up there and take care of business. I'll say 24-21. I'll take the Falcons to win that game.
And then moving down to the Sunday night games, 49ers at Broncos. The Broncos in general, Russell Wilson off to not such a good start. And who do you think got this game, and what you got on the Broncos?
I love the 49ers. I think they're the best defensive football. I think Denver's really going to struggle against them. And Jimmy Garoppolo will help this team. I like the 49ers, Mendel. Denver's a tough place to play, but I like the 49ers to win this game 24-20.
And what's your opinion on the Broncos in general, and how do they get out of the
Well, they keep getting guys hurt. They can run the ball really good. They did last week against Houston. Guys dropped a lot of passes. They've got one legitimate receiver in Cortland Sutton. There's not a whole lot else to throw to right now. They're struggling off, in the passing game. Russell Wilson had a poor game by his standards. And so I think Denver is just going to struggle until they can get some receivers around Russell Wilson right now that he can really rely on.
And now moving on to the Monday night game, which, I'm not able to watch it, even though I'm a massive Giants fan, and the whiteout, everything that's happening, Kayvon Thibodeau's debut, and Azeez Ojulari's back. I can't watch it because it's the Jewish holiday, Rosh Hashanah, the New Year for the Jewish holiday. But who you got winning? I'm very interested in this one, obviously. And yeah.
Well, Dallas has Micah Parsons. He might be the best player in the whole league. And I think Dallas's defense will be very disruptive. But I don't think, I think the Giants defense will play good. I think their special teams will play good. Cooper Rush is going to be the quarterback. He's not great, but he's efficient. I like the Cowboys, but really close, 16-13, like a real nail biter, all the way down to the end. A field goal is going to be the difference. I don't think either offense is going to really be very good in this game.
Yeah, that's going to be an intense. And same thing. The Giants Panthers. I'm saying the Giants don't like winning by a lot of scoring. They like, unfortunately, the offense isn't definitely their power part of the team. And okay, it was nice having you on. Thanks for coming on. Stay on right after a minute, please. And we're gonna move on to week 3. We're gonna see it later. We're gonna get into it. It's gonna be exciting. I'll talk to you, and I'll talk to Sports of the Wise Man. We'll be back next week. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll be back next week. Let me know in the comments how you liked it. Peace out.